Mr. President,
The senator from North Dakota.
I come here again today on what is a sad day and really a whole sad week for law enforcement in North Dakota, for the community of Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa, and certainly for the family of Colt Eugene Allery. Colt was a deputy in the Rolette County Sheriff's Office who tragically lost his life in the line of duty last Wednesday night near Belcourt, North Dakota. Colt joined in a high-speed chase with several fellow officers Wednesday evening after a report and identification of a stolen vehicle. As the stolen vehicle was coming to a forced stop, shots were fired, and the call came over the radio that shakes all of North Dakota law enforcement and our entire state to the core. Officer down. Colt never got back up that evening, succumbing to his injuries, not very far from the small community where he grew up. He leaves behind 5 beautiful young children, including a stepdaughter, his fiancée Alexandria, and his grandparents, Jean and Rita Allery, who raised him, his family, his friends, and a community that will miss his constant smile and playful attitude. He also leaves behind his fellow deputies and colleagues in the Rolette County Sheriff's Office. I know this is an incredibly tough time for the Rolette County Sheriff, Meldrud, and his deputies right now as well. And I know that I and the people across the state of North Dakota have your back during this difficult time. This is now the second time in less than a year that I've come to the floor of the United States Senate to talk about the heroism and service of one of North Dakota's peace officers, one of those peace officers who made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. It's heartbreaking to have to stand here yet again to make one of these speeches in recognition of a North Dakota peace officer. In fact, during my 8 years as North Dakota's Attorney General, those 8 years, I saw 2 violent deaths of peace officers in my state. Here in less than a year, we have 2. And talking to many of my friends in law enforcement in my state, they will tell you that the business of law enforcement and the work of law enforcement in our state has become more and more dangerous and more challenging. As I've said many times, and I will say it again here today, North Dakota has the finest peace officers in the entire country. And Colt Allery personified that dedication of our peace officers to protect and serve their communities. Losing an officer in the line of duty is always devastating. But in states like North Dakota, where we often say we know everyone, Colt's loss is being felt in communities across the state. Colt and his family will know that the entire state mourns his loss and that we had his back in his life and will have theirs as they struggle with this incredible and unimaginable loss. Growing up in St. John, North Dakota, and as an enrolled member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians, Colt never strayed far from home. And he made a commitment to do more than just be part of his community. He made a commitment to protect his community as a peace officer. Colt started out as a corrections officer for Rolette County, and after graduating from Law Enforcement Training Academy, he started work in the Rolla Police Department. He then went to serve his fellow tribal members as a tribal police officer of Turtle Mountain before recently moving to the Rolette County Sheriff's Office. We have a proud history in North Dakota of peace officers like Colt, serving their state and local communities with distinction. And I have the privilege over the years, and my years in public service, to work with law enforcement officials, from highway patrol to state and local officers to various federal officers to our tribal police. And I will tell you again, these are some of the finest men and women I have ever worked with. These are the men and women, just like Colt, who have chosen a different path. Instead, they chose to take the oath to protect and serve. They chose to selflessly put themselves in harm's way so they could make North Dakota a safer place for each and every person that lives there or who may by chance be passing through. They chose to put the needs of others before their own needs, and in fact, before their own family's needs. They chose a more difficult path to tread than most of us would be willing to follow. Putting that uniform on each and every day places you in a unique and special group, a tight-knit community that very few people could understand what it takes to get the job done. All too often, it takes a tragedy like this one outside of Belcourt, North Dakota, last week, to recognize and appreciate our peace officers and the sacrifice that they and their families make every day, so that we can feel safe and secure in our daily lives. I stand here this morning not only to celebrate the life of Colt Allery, but to celebrate and thank each and every peace officer working in the state of North Dakota and across the country, and know that although Senator Hoeven and I cannot be at the ceremony and at the celebration of Colt's life today, we stand today with the community and with the state in appreciation. And we stand today in mourning for the loss of Colt Allery and for the terrible sacrifice that his fiancée, his children, and his family have made in service to our country and our state and their community. So Deputy Allery, I thank you for your service and your sacrifice on behalf of the people of North Dakota. May God bless you and welcome you, and may he bless your family. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.